Down near the bend of the Cahaba, where the pines lean close and the fog rolls low, there's a story the old folks still whisper. They say the river remembers what men try to forget. The shovel hit something solid. Marcus Holt froze, squinting through the afternoon haze. He'd been digging post holes behind the old family barn, working slow, letting the cicadas keep time. But that sound, that dull clink, didn't belong to root or rock. He knelt down, scraping at the red Alabama clay with his glove. The shape came clear, small, metal, half buried, a revolver, rusted near through, the handle eaten with age. It wasn't the first old relic he'd found on this property. Horseshoes, a pocket knife, even a brass button from a Confederate coat. But this one felt different. He lifted it from the earth, careful not to break it apart. The cylinder still turned. He sat it on a rag by the barn wall, wiped his hands, and went to fetch his phone. He figured his friend Henry, the sheriff's deputy, might get a kick out of seeing it. By the time Henry arrived, the sun was dropping behind the tree line. He stepped out of his cruiser, chewing sunflower seeds and grinning like always. "Digging up treasure again, huh?" he said, leaning over the workbench. Then his grin faded. "You know what that is?" Marcus shrugged. "Just an old gun. Maybe from my granddad's time." Henry turned it in the light, thumbed back the hammer. It clicked smooth. "Nah," he said. "Not that old. Looks like a Smith & Wesson .38, maybe 50s. But look here." He pointed. "Serial numbers filed clean off." Marcus frowned. "You think it was used in something?" Henry didn't answer right away. He holstered his chewing seeds and gave Marcus that lawman look, the kind that saw 10 years deeper than anyone else's. "I think you ought to be careful what you dig up around here." That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He laid in bed listening to the river in the distance, steady as a heartbeat. When he finally drifted off, he dreamed of water, black and slow-moving, the smell of wet leaves and iron. He saw a man standing in the river chest deep, holding a revolver. The man turned. His face was wrong, blurred, shifted, but his eyes locked on Marcus like he'd been waiting. Then came the whisper, "Put it back." Marcus jolted awake. The room was quiet except for the ceiling fan ticking overhead. But outside he thought he heard something. Maybe footsteps in the yard. He got up, grabbed the flashlight, and stepped out onto the porch. Nothing. Just fog, thick and white as milk. The next morning, Marcus decided to return the gun to where he found it. It just felt wrong keeping it in the house. He wrapped it in a cloth and walked down to the river. The path wound through tall grass and wild mint. Every few yards he caught that faint, metallic smell again, like blood and rain. When he reached the water's edge, he crouched down, holding the bundle over the current. But before he let go, he saw footprints, fresh ones, in the mud beside him, big, boot-shaped, still filling with water. He looked around. The woods were silent. Then from upstream, he heard it. A soft splash, like someone stepping into the shallows. Marcus called out, "Hello?" No answer. Just the sound of the river and something pale drifting past. Maybe a scrap of cloth. Maybe not. He tossed the gun in and backed away. It sank without a ripple. By evening, Henry was back. He leaned on the hood of his cruiser, shaking his head. "You should have called me before you did that," he said. Marcus frowned. "Why?" "It was junk." Henry sighed. "Got a call today from Helena PD. They found a revolver just like yours, same make, same year, used in a killing 30 years ago. Body dumped near this same bend of the river." Marcus went cold. "You think that's the one?" Henry looked out toward the water, his face unreadable. "The Cahaba doesn't give up her secrets easy, but she remembers." The two men stood there in silence, listening to the river breathe. Then Henry added almost softly, "Funny thing is, that old barn of yours belonged to a deputy once. Went missing in '93. Marcus turned to him. "You think—" Henry didn't finish the thought. He just tipped his hat, got in the car, and drove off into the fog. That night, Marcus dreamed again. This time the river wasn't dark. It glowed, pale greenish light flowing beneath the surface like veins. And in that glow, faces moved, blurred, weightless, turning slowly toward him. He felt the current pulling him in, cold fingers brushing his ankles. He tried to back away, but the water rose faster, climbing to his knees, his chest, his throat. He woke gasping in bed, the sheets damp with sweat. The sound of the river filled the house, louder than ever. He got up and opened the window. Outside, the fog was thicker than before, and on the porch railing, where he'd left his gloves, lay the revolver. Clean now, free of rust, the serial number clear as day. He stepped back, heart pounding. The air was still. The river murmured, and then softly, as if carried on the wind, he heard it again. "Put it back." Some things are better left alone. If you like this story and you'd like to hear more, like, subscribe, and leave a comment.